Hi, this is Katherine O'Brien, and I welcome you to this discussion of how to prepare to homeschool high school on the journey to college. There's advantages to it, there's a few disadvantages, some challenges. So let's take a look. I started homeschooling the oldest of my 6 kids in 1998, just before he turned 4. He was just desperate to learn how to read. Since then, I've homeschooled from 1 to all 6 of my children at a time. I've written my own curriculum sometimes. I've used programs I put together for myself from other curriculum. I've been part of a homeschool umbrella school. I've homeschooled in conjunction with a charter school as well. It really was important for me to be flexible in order to meet the different needs of my family at different times. In 2004, after helping several friends during homeschool park days, I founded Celtic College Consultants. I have a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and management science from Northwestern University and a master's degree in theology from the Franciscan University of Steubenville. This combination has enabled me to ably assist students in pursuing STEM fields as well as those who are preferring the humanities. To date, I've written 3 books, The Ultimate Guide to Top Quality College Planning, and the first 2 editions of Every Catholic's Guide to College, the Top Colleges and Universities for Practicing Catholics. The Ultimate Guide is a short book I wrote to help parents who were considering working with a college consultant or planner. In it, I explain the many ways consultants train to do this work and the wide range of services we offer. The 2 college guides were created to address the particular needs of students and families seeking Catholic fellowship and community on campus. All 3 books are available on Amazon.com. There are fundamentally 2 types of homeschoolers with regards to college admissions. First, those who will have an accredited diploma when they finish, and those who won't. This latter group is sometimes referred to as independent homeschoolers. In both cases, parents are the primary teachers or, as is often the case in high school, the coordinator of course procurement, or you organize everything, but not always teach it all. It's quite common for homeschoolers to take a combination of online classes, college classes, live classes, parent-taught classes, co-op classes, kind of a smorgasbord. If you are homeschooling through a charter or an accredited program, you will find college admissions to be handled as if your student went to an institutional school. Probably even your transcript will be created for you by the school. If you independently homeschool, there are a number of differences when it comes to applying for college, which I'll be briefly covering today. Either way, there'll be information for both kinds of homeschoolers. Happily for us, with so many homeschoolers having gone before us, many colleges these days now have a section on their admissions page with information for homeschooling students. You want to start researching possible schools early on so you know what they're looking for. In general, admissions is looking for challenging courses, excellent grades, great test scores, and sometimes specific course requirements. And they're going to look at grade trends. They're going to look at students who took honors classes but didn't take AP or advanced. And it depends partially on what's available as well. But they are going to be looking in general for these things. As homeschoolers, it's really important that we keep detailed and extensive records. Now we're talking about high school kids, so it is very okay for our students to be keeping these records and us to be monitoring them doing it. They want to have a list of all the books they've read. Sometimes that will turn up as part of the application process. And that's in class and out of class. And yes, that sometimes is a very long document. That's okay. You want to track all the course providers and the texts used for each class. You also, especially if you have any thoughts at all about applying to a military academy, want to keep track of the dates of the classes. Not necessarily the particular day, but the month. Because as you know, some of us school year round and some of us start in August and some of us start in October, and we may take Christmas break for a month this year and for 2 weeks next year, and some of us take Easter break and some of us take a ski break, and we do all kinds of different things. And the academies especially, but sometimes other schools will ask for the specific dates so they can see what was happening, what the time use was, what the demands were on our students at given times during their time in high school. Also, please keep sample graded papers, especially from junior year, ones that are excellent. You will find, particularly among liberal arts colleges or programs, that they will ask for you to submit a graded paper. If you don't have any, it's a little harder. And sometimes in the application process, there'll be a paper you need to write. But as far as record keeping, these are all things that we need to do in addition to creating the transcripts and all the rest of it. Now, it's very common for our kids to be asked for additional test scores to validate their coursework. This can be AP, SAT subject tests, CLEP scores, and this is in addition to the ACT or SAT or CLT. Don't be offended. The colleges are using these to try and calibrate our kids, assess our kids in context of the thousands upon thousands of applications they get. So most of the colleges that want extra test scores will ask for SAT subject scores. Doesn't mean you're limited to those, but that's often what they'll ask for. There are 20 SAT subject tests in 5 general subject areas: English, history, languages, math, and science. Each subject test is an hour long. They're all multiple choice, and they get scored on a scale from 200 to 800, the same scale that they use for the SAT. The subject tests test you on your knowledge of subjects taught on a high school level. The best way to prepare, according to them, is to take the relevant course and work hard. The College Board website does have a page for each test and lists the topics included on the various tests, so you can compare that with the curriculum you're using. There are also books of practice subject tests available. SAT subject tests are taken at the same time as the SAT tests, the same dates, same locations, with the exception of March when they are not offered. Please note that it is not possible to take an SAT and an SAT subject test on the same day. You can, however, take up to 3 SAT subject tests on the same day. Register for SAT subject tests online through the College Board website. A note on AP tests. It's possible to take AP tests without taking the class. Contact your local high school in December or January to make arrangements to take the tests in May with their kids. Scores can also be used to validate the rigor of our coursework. They are only offered in May on specific dates throughout the country at brick and mortar schools. Talk to the high school's testing coordinator, and they cost about $70 each. CLEP tests are college equivalency tests. They're also offered by the College Board. There are 33 different subjects. See the College Board website for information. There are 2,900 colleges and universities that accept them, and these also can be used to validate the rigor of academic coursework. Lastly, the DSST set of exams came out of Dante and Things for the Military, and these provide the opportunity to get college credit for knowledge in the fields of business, math, science, social science, technology, and the humanities. These tests, like CLEP tests, are proctored at testing centers, and they can be both of these can be scheduled any time of the year. For more information on the DSST, see getcollegecredit.com for full information. Test takers are given 2 hours to take the 100-question exam, and you can see on their website which schools will take it. And the testing centers are mostly college campuses. They are $85 per test. And you will, for the CLEP and the DSST, you will register with the testing site and take care of things with them. Okay. During the sophomore and junior year, we've got tests that are tied into national things and with scholarships. The PSAT-10 is the preliminary SAT test. It's typically given sophomore year. It'll be the first nationally ranked test score the student will receive. It's taken again October of the junior year and is then called the PSAT NMSQT. The junior year sitting is the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. The PSAT is only given at brick and mortar schools. It's given typically the second Wednesday in October every year. So you're going to need to make arrangements with the testing coordinator at your local high school. Please note that high schools are not required to permit non-registered students on their campuses. So be courteous and grateful when approaching them about joining their students for this test. For the AP test, it's the same. The testing coordinator will take care of registering your student, and you will pay him or her the test fee. For the tests, all these tests, you're going to need a school code, which is a code for your school. So go online and look up the code for a homeschooler in your state. If you're with an umbrella school or a charter, that school probably has a code. The scores will not be reported to the school where your student takes the test unless your child accidentally puts that school code rather than the homeschool code on their form. Because everyone will be filling this out, and the teachers, of course, up front are going to say, put down number whatever it is for our school. And your student needs to know, oh, I'm a homeschooler, I'm going to put in all nines or whatever the code is that they're using. The PSAT, in addition to giving your student an opportunity to experience the testing environment before taking the ACT or SAT, also provides a detailed score report, which includes the SAT score that their score is equivalent to. There's a great deal of valuable information on that report. Contact me to get my booklet that I wrote about it. The CLT-10 is an alternative to the PSAT. In terms of academic rigor, it's scaled back from the regular CLT. That is, it doesn't have any trigonometry, doesn't have as many level 5 questions. It's intended for 9th and 10th grade students. It's free to take. And although it's free, those who score within the top 1% are eligible for $2,500 scholarships through the National Association of Scholars. Now, you've probably heard of the SAT and the ACT, and you're not sure what I'm talking about with the CLT, or you've heard of it too, and you're glad to hear it included. So the SAT, ACT, and CLT are tests taken by students who will be applying to college. The scores are then sent to the colleges as part of the application process. The SAT has 3 sections: evidence-based reading and writing, and the math section, and an optional essay. The ACT has 5 sections: reading, English, math, science, and the optional essay. For both the, check the requirements of the colleges you plan to apply to about whether or not you need to take the essay. The CLT, or Classic Learning Test, was developed in 2015 as a better alternative way to test students. As of July 2018, over 100 colleges accept the CLT in lieu of the ACT or SAT. In other words, students applying to those colleges don't need to take the ACT or SAT. They can just take the CLT. Presently, there are 250 testing centers located all over the U.S. For full information, for the CLT, you're going to want to look at cltexam.com. Lastly, for those who prefer to avoid tests altogether, go to fairtest.org and explore the more than 1,000 test optional colleges. However, these don't require the test scores for admissions. However, they typically do for scholarships. So you'll want to check that out in detail. As homeschoolers, we have some advantages to our institutionally educated peers. We have more free time. So that gives us the opportunity to really pursue our particular academic interests and our other interests. We have the ability to do more community service, more significant leadership, get jobs, etc. Obviously, we've got the flexibility to do our schoolwork around our other activities and schedules. We have control over the curriculum. Some people homeschool because they don't like Common Core curriculum. You can choose to not use it. And you get to set your own graduation requirements. So what are you typically expected to teach during high school? Rule of thumb: 4 years of English, 3 of math, 2 to 3 years of lab science. Biology, chemistry, physics is a triumvirate most want to see. 2 to 3 years of history, 2 to 4 years of foreign language, and then sometimes there are specific requirements as well. Dual enrollment is a wonderful option. It's often quite possible and advantageous to take college classes during your time in high school. Some students actually do enough of it to earn an associate's degree at the same time as they're graduating from high school. You can also use them to simply develop a field of interest, to take lab science classes, orchestra, choir, other classes that are hard to do independently. Often the tuition is waived or lowered for high school students taking college classes, but be aware that sometimes there are age restrictions or you need to get permission from professors to take the classes. So you want to be aware of those. So to recap, with the extra time we have as homeschoolers, use that time to pursue our specific interests. and pursue them deeply. Develop our talents, pursue awards, national competitions, getting published, doing gallery showings, traveling and competing in various areas, getting published, creating portfolios, giving presentations, starting businesses, working various places, serving in various ways, leading. These are special opportunities for homeschoolers. Since your school offers no ready-made clubs to just join, we have the opportunity to create our own. Yes, that's harder, but by creating our own, we get to learn many more skills than our institutionally schooled friends do, and be a lot more creative and develop ourselves and demonstrate far more abilities than the kid who just shows up after school on Tuesdays for the French club kind of thing. We're going to need to take an initiative to develop leadership skills, to explore our special interests. We want to create an e-magazine rather than having a school paper, or join the community choir rather than the high school choir. Do club athletics, or it might be possible to partner with your local high school and compete on their athletic team, although you're not a student there. You'll be able to demonstrate your ability to organize yourself, to organize others, to organize tasks, to motivate yourself and others to a much greater extent than your traditionally educated peers will. Take this opportunity and run with it. So for us parents, that means that we shift during the high school years from teacher and micromanager, and here's everything, and organize your desk like this and all that, to coach. As the student takes over and they're doing the record keeping and they're doing the organizing and they're setting things up, and we're coaching and encouraging and directing, and they're doing more. And that means typically that our students are far more able to be successful on college campuses, because those soft skills, as they call them, are exactly what they're noticing is lacking amongst most students when they get to campus. But our kiddos have taken on that responsibility and learned how to direct themselves, direct others, set priorities, use their time well, manage their money, et cetera, et cetera. So they're ready to be on campus. So it can be difficult, and the shift between teacher of a grade school child to coach, kind of stepping back and really encouraging and letting the student take the lead, is a difficult transition, but it's one well worth doing and brings forth tremendous rewards. And each student's different. They're all going to have different timelines. You really can't compare with even their siblings. So just take it slow and encourage them and give them the tools that they need. And when they fail, help them to break open the failure and learn from it. It's not the end of the world. It's the thing that they're doing before they succeeded. Remind them when they learned to walk, they fell on their bums a lot, over and over and over, and they wobbled and they grabbed the table and they did all these things. And every time they did it, nobody was telling them anything, but they were figuring out, oh, if I lean that way, I'm going to fall over to my side. If I lean like that, or I step like this, or I stand on one shoe while I'm walking forward, I trip myself and I fall down, or I land on my bottom. Same kind of thing. We need to do the same thing with these failures as they're starting a club and they can't get people engaged or whatever they're doing that they're having challenges with. Break it open, learn from it, adjust, go forward. So I know I went quickly. There's a lot of information in all of this. There's a lot with the testing and some planning to be done ahead of time. There's a lot to prepare for college. And then when we're doing it on our own, it can be daunting. And I want to let you know that it would be my pleasure to meet with you, to discuss how I can help you, to review what you've started to explore and plan and prepare, and to walk with you on the journey if that's would be the most beneficial, or just check in from time to time. So I invite you to come to my scheduling site, which is celticcollegeconsultants.fullslate.com, and schedule an hour consultation. And we'll take that time to answer your questions, to meet together and talk about your concerns, your strengths, your weaknesses, and how to best move forward so that your child can be successful during high school and ready for the next steps beyond. For general information about my college consulting services, please go to CelticCollegeConsultants.com. Thank you and have a great day.